Place to Contemplate, Episode 2. We're back. When I say we, I mean you and me. We are both back. Both here right now. You can't dispute that. You and I are both here in this place in time. So, right now, I'm gonna have a moment's pause. This is where the theme music would go. I want to get like an audio plug-in of like a dulcimer and just like play some notes on there, like like real serious sounding, like chiming, percussive, like the segue music on NPR. Alright, so I got one episode in the can. I think I got feedback from about like two people with a tentative third. And I was pretty pleased with the first episode. I talked about how I had locked myself out of my apartment and I had to wait in my apartment building's vestibule for someone to hopefully come and have the key to the door so I could also get in. I was pleased with it, and I kind of knew that I wasn't starting out with a wellspring of content though, so I think this is gonna be a bit of a rambling episode, and I'm gonna explore some kind of like fleeting ideas. Starting with the idea of performance anxiety. Last night actually 2 nights ago, I had yesterday was Sunday. I had Sunday off, and I ended up sleeping till literally 1 p.m. And I'm not one to sleep in. It kind of makes me... Hold on a second. Sorry, that was my alarm clock for today, because I slept so late yesterday that I made sure not to do it today. So I slept till like 1 p.m. yesterday, and I kind of my body clock knew how long I was sleeping because it was absurdly long, and like a sense of guilt crept into my dreams, and I was like thwarting stuff. Like, I don't remember what exactly happened, and I'm not going to recap any dreams for you because people are always saying like how boring it is when they hear other people's dreams. So, but I had this sense that I was thwarting some kind of like force going like, you're supposed to wake up, I'm good sense, and I was like, no, and I just want to bury myself and just just kind of retreat further into the dream, and I can see the whole city from the sky and all the rooftops of the world that I'm supposed to be in, and I'm just simultaneously wanting to withdraw and not face reality, but also thinking that I'm making it even worse. So today I got up at a good time. But actually last night I started same thing. Some anxieties were creeping into my dream, and I dreamt that I was doing this weird radio show. I mean TV show. I dreamt that I had been pushed into the role of being a TV show host, and then I just had to do it. And for some reason I had this microphone that had an orange on it as the circular part of the microphone, and I was had had no idea what to come up with, and I was like, "Aren't you glad I didn't make a joke about this?" So yeah, I think I always get performance anxiety, and I'm gonna try to explore that pretty briefly. So and I think something for me about creativity, I forgot about this because I haven't really tried to been really prolific in a number of years. Something about creativity, and especially once you've put yourself out there and you're I'm an artist, check me out, it can be kind of excruciating for me. I'm not going to say that everyone does this, because it seems like that can't possibly be the case. But for me, uh, just like I get poor performance anxiety over like this like the unknown aspect of art. So like I used to like right after college, I uh I wanted to be like a traditional like painter and make like kind of like expressionistic paintings like modern art inspired like Picasso, Matisse, and that kind of thing. And um, and like I got into it because it was like I found painting to be kind of like freeform, and I started this way of like trying to generate things at random, and and like I I felt like once I started something, anything I came up with would be quote unquote good once I got into it. So I kind of like likes these kind of like freeform ways of like maybe just starting with one. I think I did one painting where I just drew like a figure first. I drew the person's body, and then I like added to the scene. Like then I did the background after I saw that. After I saw the first piece. Um, but excuse me. Um, for me, like my early creations were really exhilarating because it was kind of like a montage scene in like a film like Rocky or something where like he's training and like he's making these considerable gains. Like at the beginning of the film, they point out like how he has difficulty running up all the stairs, and then like halfway through the film, he's just like breaking down those barriers. And like art making kind of felt like that for me. Like I'd go to a museum and see like a bunch of new painters, and then it was like a new world. I had this whole like new like how would I describe it? Just like a whole new like world, like whole set of like new things that I knew about. Um, so I felt like art came easy, but then I was like, yeah, I definitely want to like do painting and stuff. So the thing that could be really excruciating is just like waking up in the morning and knowing that I have to produce, and the fact that it's like not just produce but produce creatively had this like really like a heavy performance anxiety to it because like it's like not only did I have to like generate output, but I had like the expectation. I mean, just placed on myself. I don't. It's not like I really had a anyone was depending on me to do anything, but like the expectation to produce creatively like would involve me kind of coming up with stuff that was like not apparent to me how I would come up with it. I just needed to like somehow find what would come next, and like um I find that like performance anxiety for creativity to be like I don't know, it's weird. It's like it just feels like stepping into the like when you're doing something that depends on creating like unique works, it's like stepping out into the air. You don't know what you're stepping out into. But then at the same time, it's like kind of why I wanted to do it because like I especially didn't like the alternative of like stepping out onto like a track and just like knowing that everything would be real predictable and you'd kind of go through the same pattern every day. I think that's exactly what I wanted to avoid is like, oh, years of my life are just going to go by going through the same pattern, like a hamster on a wheel. And I eventually like switched and like wanted to have job stability because of like basically my traumas, and it was kind of like trying to do creativity in free form. It's like that feeling of not having a safety net under me pretty much became the reality. So I had this kind of like increasing of brittleness, and like so like I was feeling like a pinata just like swaying back and forth in a breeze, and like waiting for the candy to just like bust out of the bottom and dump out. Um, the ground really did break it, just like bust out beneath me, and then I just felt like, um, then I kind of like had these traumas to deal with. Like I started by having panic attacks, and then I was like, oh, I gotta like go all in on this kind of thing, on like on mental health kind of concerns. So, um, those are some of my thoughts on performance anxiety. So, I felt that coming back for this podcast, and the whole point was like just do it freeform. But I was a little upset that I had this like good idea for the first one, and that now I'm like, and then like since then I've been gathering these little like odds and ends. But at the same time, it's like fuck it, because I was saying in the first episode that my whole like I developed these like expectations, and then I'm like, well, I can't do it because I don't have the right microphone, or like I set this up with the most freeform possible like um, guidelines that I would be like that would be a bit of an audio diary, and already I'm again like fabricating for myself stuff that I don't want to do. I'm like, I don't want to like I don't want to just string together odds and ends to talk about. Um, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Um, okay, let's see. So another thing I realized I liked about the first episode was not just that I was like recapping this kind of like experience that was kind of like a slice of life, but also like recapping a thought process. And I like talking about thought processes. Um, I find that kind of like for some reason to be something that like that's fulfilling to talk about. Maybe I don't know why. Like maybe I can explore that in future episodes. But after that episode, I wrote this down that I wanted to like um, make it a like kind of a guideline for the podcast that I would begin with ideas that have already crystallized in my head, because like once I have the beginning of like a concrete idea, it's like kind of has more power to it. It's like has kind of like I feel like it's like a physical thing in the world, like a rock or like a an archway or something. Uh, Not that it's like that important, but like I feel like I have different kinds of thoughts. Like I have like thoughts that are not really like tethered to reality, and they just kind of like like float through my brain. And then there's like thoughts that are kind of have like this kernel of like I guess reality that's kind of like attached to the world, and then like I can like build from there. Um, I like that idea. Like, I mean, it's also possible that I could be talking about something and someone could just be like, "Oh, bullshit," um, and I don't see it that way. But anyway, at least I can aspire to like building things off of this like truth. cue serious sounding chiming dulcimers. Okay, we're back. Sorry about all the throat clearing. I think once I gain a mastery of this, I think I'll have a smoother presentation. Is that, you call it a presentation when it's all vocal? Anyway, so I'm waiting for a FedEx package currently, and this is another thing that causes me anxiety, but not like an actual like a visceral anxiety. I just feel like slightly I know like that I don't like the fact that I'm relegated to like staying at home and waiting because I don't know when the package is actually going to come. And this has got to be one of my like dumbest anxieties, because like the thing that causes me anxiety is like, what if I can't get down to the door fast enough to accept it? Or what if something happens between like between like moving from my room to the door, and this is what causes anxiety, is like I'm picturing the impending event of me getting the text saying that the FedEx is here, and the fact that I'm gonna have to go down the stairs and go to the door, and I'm like, it's like it can't happen fast enough. Like if I could just teleport to the door, then it would be a smooth transition. But since there's like spans of hallway that I have to walk and I have to make like twists and turns, I start like low level worrying like if I'm gonna be able to do it. I guess that's kind of like the nature of performance anxiety. Yeah, I haven't really delved too deeply into the idea of performance anxiety, but like it seems like anything, like once you envision it, it could be like become too great of a worry. Yeah, but like I know I'm kind of like in a point of privilege where I'm just like waiting for like a nifty package to arrive and I get some like new thing. But it's kind of annoying and dissatisfying at the same time. Like I've heard like people in the like mental wellness like sphere always saying that like material possessions and success don't really cause happiness, and I think I get that. But I have like a like a kind of weird relationship with stuff. Like if I need to order something online, it's like it's not like I'm a kid anymore and I just can't wait to like play with something. It's like I just want to immediately have it removed from the box and have it immediately put to the use that it's for. Like if I have a towel, like I could, if I ordered like a towel online, like I'm not gonna like be like slowly opening it and be like, oh, what is it? Ooh, yeah, and then like slowly and lovingly open the package for the towel, because it's like, you know, I don't know, is that even enjoyable? I feel like it's inherently not like appealing, because like probably ordering like a towel that's like made in China, and like I take it out of the plastic package and it like smells like fresh ink, like it smells, or like dye, you could just smell the dye. So like I wish I could just already have the towel. Like I'm not enjoying picking it out, waiting for it, or opening it. Because like all I'm looking to do is immediately throw it in the wash and have it like be part of my possessions and be done with it. So like all the steps kind of like are dissatisfying, and it makes me feel like kind of the solution is just to never like order anything. But Cause like, let's say I got a towel, and then it's like, then there's a box after you like have taken the towel out. Even aside from like the kind of worries about like recycling the packaging and stuff, it's like I open the box and I set the box aside, and then my space has decreased a little bit. So like it kind of feels like I'm in this like game of like gaining and losing space all the time. Like if I want to be like real Spartan and just be like, all right, I got one towel. I'm a one towel guy. Just wash my towel when I need it. It's like then I'm like preserving space, but probably like losing time as well. Anyway, buying stuff is pretty annoying, and waiting for it to come in the mail also. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna keep grinding along with this thing. Feel kind of dissatisfied with life, and I know this is a bit of like an insular kind of self-centered perspective because we're in a global pandemic right now, and you know, times are not good for anybody. Actually, when I like listen to other podcasts and people are like saying so, like, oh, we know it's a really hard time, feels kind of like nourishing. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm simultaneously just dissatisfied with my life, and even aside from the pandemic, sorry, but like, I want to do a little like exploration of like people. Like, I remember like in my mid 20s, kind of, it was kind of like this weird game where like uh, it was hard to like participate in a group and also find my own direction, because like everyone liked doing different things, and that necessitated me just kind of like doing my own stuff alone, and that kind of created like another like dissatisfying double bind where like I kind of lacked like a community, because like I always tend to feel like if I had like a really like inspiring peer group, like that's kind of where it's at, and like it's hard to create that sense of community. And I've realized like community is kind of like, it's almost like I feel like more valuable than individualism, in my opinion. And it's like I could have kind of just sacrificed doing specific stuff by myself and just go to the like, and just like adopt the kind of group. Just be like, oh, if there's some group that does that, I'll just do that, because then I get to hang out with the group. But I don't know, didn't really feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. What do I have to do for this podcast to shine bright like a diamond? You know, it's like I just want to live inside a pop song. Like when you like go out, like a song, the songs that the DJs play make you think that like the ideal slice of existence is a period like between like pre-gaming to go out and before like the end of the night, like right in there, that's like that like decadent little like section where you're just like paradoxically between beginning and end. and it's like I think that kind of like I'm so used to like being juiced into like pop music that like I can't enjoy things under ordinary terms. I'm always supposed to be like going bigger or something, or like absorbed in like a state of glitteration where everything is like glittering. But anyway, I'll find some way to make this shine bright like a diamond. So like the other thing with like creativity, daily creativity for me is like I was just thinking about this just now because I paused this recording for a minute and I went to the deli to get an egg sandwich and a coffee, and then I was thinking again on the walk back, and I have all these ideas for this podcast. Like I made like a for the first episode I made a very impromptu like cover art kind of thing, and I liked that, and then I made a different one for the second episode, and then I was like realizing I can kind of use if I make like different cover arts every now and then, I can kind of use it to practice out some design ideas, because I like this kind of like low-key design. I like working on like low-key design, but it's kind of in my own aesthetic taste. Like I don't know if I can use it for like everything, so I like having like these. I like the idea of using the podcast as a project to like practice some of that, some of those aesthetics, and then I was like thinking of other ideas for the podcast. Like I was like, oh, I can make a splash page out of HTML, and then I'll put all the episodes on there, and then that'll have like some artwork on it. And then so I was like envisioning like where's this, like what's this gonna look like if I keep amassing episodes? Like what presentation should they be in? Like an archive or something. And I'm gonna need an archive of like just all the coffee sipping sounds, and then like maybe the coffee sipping changes texture like between 2021 and 2022. No, I'm just kidding. But so like I like working on stuff in the moment. I like the exploration of it, but it always becomes a little problematic for me when I have amassed like an accumulation of stuff. Like in this case, I feel like I might need an archive, but like these tasks become such like a thing that I do to keep busy. Like, oh, gotta do this and then this, and it's almost like enjoyable that I always have something to work on. But then I've gotten into situations where I'm so like deep into the various like sections and flaps of the like in this case podcast that it's harder to pull back. So like I kind of started changing how I work on creativity, like so that I like to shape things so that I could always make a clean break from it, so I'm not like all tied down by these various like strands that are attached to like flaps of like boxes of stuff that I've created. Like I want it to be more of like a holistic thing where like where I can just like make a clean break from it and just be like my whole self, like because I'm envisioning like if I have all these like pages for the podcast, it kind of reminds me of like that short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, about it's like a story where a woman is like relegated to a room, and then by the end of it she's like so used to the wallpaper that and being stuck in her head that she starts to like, I can't remember how it's exactly described, but she starts to like exist inside the wallpaper and like walk around in the patterns of the wallpaper. I feel like it's kind of like that. Like I don't want to be like leaping from like podcast album cover artwork to like podcast audio slider bar, where I'm just like so concerned with like the placement of the like widgets and stuff, and, and I'm just like walking to the deli and back, just thinking about the widgets and being like, oh, wait, I can't wait to get home to like widget up the widget, and then like after like 6 months of fine tuning widgets, I realized that like the size of my life is like the gap between like the widget player and the cover art. It's like 30 pixels. That's how big my life is. So like I like to like kind of integrate into my creative process this like holistic thing where like I guess I'm kind of thinking about my lifestyle like as I do the creativity like let's say you were taking up like pottery, like the idea of going to like a pottery like studio and spinning some pots and then leaving and going home sounds like this like nice like therapeutic um like lifestyle, but that doesn't account for like needing to like dispose of your like old plaster and needing to like do something with like the 12 like misshapen mugs you made, which you like have to list on Etsy as like $9 misshapen mug. Misshapen mug but fired, still drinkable, and like you're just like waiting for them to sell. You have 9 of them, and like people are even like favoriting the item, but no one buys it. Your life is just like taking inventory of this various stuff, your plaster and your mugs. So like, yeah, I don't know what the solution is in that case, but I feel like I need to hold on to the actual like feel where you just like go into the pottery studio and you're carrying like a tote bag with like a mason jar of tea, and you're just like zipping around on your life, and you're like texting people and you're listening on your iPod to like jazzy hip hop, and then like it all feels good and inspiring. I feel like that's the point of it. So yeah, I don't want to get too bogged down in maintenance. And I guess the thing I've learned is like sometimes it almost seems counterintuitive, like that I might actually just trim down my creativity and be like, oh, all that stuff that would be awesome. No, 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 no. I'm gonna do like 1 out of every 20 things, and it seems like I actually don't even want to do stuff, but it's actually like this method of like having it be this like this more like enveloping lifestyle thing. So that's how I feel about the podcast delivery systems, like the website and stuff. And it seems like everyone's like got a Patreon now, and they're all deep into it. I'm like really impressed because I know how much work goes into all the. Even having a website with like 4 pages where you got to keep it all current, so like you have a bio and stuff. I'm like, I hope these people are staying healthy, you know, because like people are like putting out podcasts every day, and it all just seems really well developed. And you know, I mean, I guess there's different people have different temperaments. So that's another thing on my mind regarding this. So that's it for this podcast. I'm like Mr. Rogers. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on performance anxiety and daily creativity. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you want to talk about something with me on the podcast. Let me know if you own a Dulcimer or a Dulcimer synth plugin and you want to help me out with the theme music. Alright, I'll be back before long.